Welcome everyone to the East Coast F1 League Season 7. This is round 9 from the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Coming in towards the latter half of the season with a tight drivers' championship shaking up. 3 drivers separated by less than 20 points. A-Dub Soda with the 8-point lead over El Manjaco, with Lanzi in 3rd place, just a few points behind. We're set for one of the more entertaining and action-packed races tonight in the Jeddah International Circuit. We should be getting set to go here for the initial hot laps of the session. Looks like it's going to be both Haas drivers out first. Dusty Lusky leading the way. Seen most drivers execute these opening laps on the soft tires, as we've seen commonly in recent times. 27 turns around this Jeddah circuit, each of them their own different challenge. 3 DRS zones as well. One of them moved from this straight down towards the back straight in this most recent version. Got all kinds of high-speed corners, low-speed corners, and even that banked corner that we just saw the Haas driver go through. Should be a fun one tonight. Very important qualifying session, but will be lots of opportunities to advance positions during the race as well. Of course, always a threat of safety cars, even potential rain here tonight, as we have, I believe, 26 laps of running. But we have our first driver of the session, Dusty Lusky, approaching the final couple of corners here for the opening lap of the session. We will take a lap on board around the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Final corner to start the lap. You want to open up the apex as much as possible, carry as much speed down the pit straight. Long DRS straight down towards the first heavy braking zone of the lap, braking at about 100 meters, taking as much curve as possible on the left and then on the right through the second apex. Get the power down as quickly as possible, tricky traction zone there. And swing the car to the right before the tricky turn 3. Now to the S's, turn 4, turn 5. As much throttle as you dare, as close to the walls as you dare. You see Dusty taking a little bit of that inside curve here and there. Looks fairly clean throughout that section. But we've got a couple of drivers out of the session already. It's like A-Dub and Cesar Roberto. So A-Dub, the championship leader, will have to start tonight from the rear of the field. Dusty Lusky has made its way through the banks corner and approaching the middle sector. Hard braking zone right here. As close to the apex of the wall as possible. And down to a series of flat-out corners with a DRS zone in them, all while keeping the wheel as straight as possible through here. Coming up on one of the trickier braking zones of the lap. Can't get on the track too early though, or else you will spin out on that curb. Approaching the final DRS zone of the lap. Keeping the car all the way to the inside before heading into the braking zone. Very tricky to get the car rotated through there, but Dusty seems like he keeps it pretty close. Up to the line, we're going to see what the time all these drivers are chasing tonight, and it will be a 29.4. I believe Unholy Red Eye is going to be next to Cross for McLaren. And he will go to start a lap, actually, is Jack Ogos with the 29 flat, putting him top of the charts. Dan King at 31.3 in 3rd. Looks like we have the AlphaTauri Shelly the Turtle next to start. Knuckles coming across to the starting line. He goes 30.2. That'll put him 4th. The Slayerized jumps him up 29.7. Bunch of drivers getting set here. Sharia Coleslaw, 29.4. That's good enough for 3rd. It looks like we had the other Alpine of Lanzi, 28.5. Half a second clear of El Manjaco, so some very quick times going in. Smith Pell is going to be next, 29.1. That's good enough for 3rd place. A couple AlphaTauri or Alfa Romeos on outlaps, as Chevy Freak is next to Cross out of the final corner for the Williams driver, opening the DRS. Line will be at 31.7. That's good enough for 9th place. Impossible Bacon in the lone Ferrari tonight. Approaching the line to finish his opening hot lap of the session. 28.5 is the current top time on the charts, and Bacon goes 28.6, just a tenth off that. Purple in the final sector as well. Still quite a bit of time left to go. I think Red Eye is going to be next to cross, as most drivers here have gotten a time on the board. That is a 30.5 for 9th place. Alfa Romeo of Fox, who is starting the lap, as well as Shelly the Turtle finishing here. It's going to be out for 6th place at 29.4, just ahead of Sharia Coleslaw. So some very tight gaps we're seeing already in the midfield. Psycho is next for Aston Martin. 31.9, good enough for 14th. It's right on board with Fox, and he's invalidated. We'll jump over to Villeneuve, who's worked his way through the middle sector. May actually be on an in-lap at this point. So it looks like most of the opening round of laps in this session has concluded. 28.5 from Lanzi and 28.6 from Impossible Bacon. The top two, which are miles ahead of the rest of the field at the moment. 4/10 the gap down with Jacob, of course, just the opening bankers that we've seen so far. Looks like we have Dusty Lusky coming on to start the second cycle of laps tonight. Again, quite a few ways the strategy could go tonight, so these drivers are going to have to keep that in mind with the selection of tires throughout the course of the session. Dusty is currently 5th in the leaderboard, but definitely some room for improvement. A lot of corners around here, a lot of places where you can make up lap time. I believe Fox is still on the lap right now. Actually, I believe he's just finished invalid 1:34.7. We'll see what his time to the first sector is, see if he's pushing again, but if he is indeed, he's already done a couple laps on this set of tires, so that won't bode well for improving on his lap time, but see what it comes to the first sector. Split a 33.9 to the first sector. Into the banked corner. It's sometimes a bit difficult to get traction out. As you can see there. Oh, that's exactly as I was saying. It can be a bit difficult maintaining that speed through the exit of that corner. Let's go. Dusty Lusky, he is tracking to start a lap. Sharia Coleslaw is going to be next for McLaren. Currently in 7th place, but only 1/100th of a second behind Dusty, who's in 5th. Approaching the halfway point of this qualifying session. Again, we did have that collision between Cesar Roberto and Ada at the very start of the qualifying session, so we'll have to see how those two drivers handle it from the back of the grid. But let's ride on board with Sharia here for the second cycle of hot laps. Getting tricky is braking zone in turn 1. Very easy to invalidate as well over those curbs, so you gotta take advantage, but not by too much. Close to the wall as he did. Looks like, oh, he's gone just a little bit wide for there, and that's going to be his lap done and dusted. So the current provisional pole sitter is just starting a new lap. We'll watch along with the championship contender. We'll look to capitalize with A-Dub at the back of the grid tonight. Opportunity to gain points with just a few rounds remaining in this championship season. Very smooth throughout the S's. Pushing the car to the absolute limits while keeping it within track boundaries. Purple sector 1, nearly 2/10 up on his previous best, so we could still see quite a bit of improvement from every one of these drivers tonight. Dusty Lusky did put in a 28.9, which has moved him up to 3rd place in the leaderboard. Still 3.5 tenths behind Impossible Bacon, who is in 2nd place. Looks like we have Villeneuve about to start a lap as well, so I believe that's El Majaco or one of the Williams, who is coming across the line right now. I don't see any improved times on the board. Looks like Jacko did put in a 28.8, so that'll vault him back ahead of Dusty Lusky. And anyway, here comes Lanzi around the final corner. He's got the Mercedes of Dan King just behind him, who's also looking to improve by 28.4, so you know, just over a 1/10 improvement for the professional pole sitter Dan King. Does not improve the 31.5 in that lap, but that's not enough to improve his standings at the moment. Knuckles is next, but he is invalidated. So let's go on board with Villeneuve, who is the next driver I believe to be still on a valid lap. Back on the grid with a brand new wheel tonight, so we'll have to see how that affects his race. Purple sector too, so looks to be a good sign so far. Only 2 drivers left in the session, still yet to set a time, as we're approaching 6 minutes left. Chevy Freak is out, and that is just before that final DRS, and that's a very tricky right-hander. Might have just caught the curb a little bit wrong, but did set a time luckily, so that is a good break for him. But here's Villeneuve up to the line. Puts in a 30.2, which is good enough for 9th place, so a solid time right there. Slayer Eyes going slow in the final sector. It doesn't look like he's pushing. Hightower, only 6/10 up in the first 2 sectors so far. That would put him back up into the top 10 if he can maintain that pace. As close to the line as possible. 29.8. Pretty solid time right there. Looks like we have Dan King. I believe he is on an in-lap. Fox is at the final corner as well. I believe he's just now starting the lap, but he still does not seem to have registered time. So perhaps some invalidations or something to that extent. Chili Total, he has also invalidated. A couple McLarens on that lap as well. So we'll go with Hightower. He is actually also invalidated. I believe he is on the in-lap as well. Right along Unholy Red Eye, as I say that, he has just now starting the lap actually, so we'll track this lap as we're now down to 5 minutes remaining. Very close to the wall right there. Sometimes it's a bit easy to lose traction on those exits when he gets up that close to the wall, but he does a good job keeping it clean. See how he navigates the S section. Very close on those inside curves, but keeps it clean. Runs a little bit wide there, but does not invalidate his lap. Up nearly half a second through the first sector. See if he can maintain that pace throughout the rest of the lap. Don't need the time from the session. I believe that is in the pit lane. So perhaps content with that starting time. Fox has put in a lap and it's a 1:31.9, so that'll be good enough for 15th place at the moment. But taking all of that inside curves there, you can see I believe that's the wreckage of Chevy Freak, who had crashed there a few minutes ago. Up now to the final corner of the lap for Red Eye. We're going all the way down to second gear there, looking for that extra rotation. See if it does anything to help his time. So the line is going to be a 30.0, so up to the top 10 for Red Eye. Psycho is next at the final corner, followed closely by Sharia Coleslaw here, as most of these guys getting set for what will be their final runs of the session. Might go up to the line. Perhaps just to start a lap. Sharia goes 5th fastest at 29.1. Owen Jack are just behind. Only a couple tenths off the front row at the grid. Time does not seem to improve there, so perhaps just starting a lap. Knuckles is one of the next drivers to cross in that Red Bull tonight. Got the Alfa Romeo Fox just ahead, who's pulled to the side, so I believe he's not pushing at the moment. And up to 9th fastest for Knuckles, so the time's starting to get a little bit closer. Dan King is next with the 1:31.5, so he's going to be a little bit slower. Red Eyes coming in. Slayerized hasn't validated. So most of these drivers working on in-laps currently. Dusty Lusky on an out-lap. Just a couple minutes left to go. Psycho does improve on his time. It's enough to jump him back up into 15th place. Sharia looks to be set for another push lap with the batteries up. The battery fully charged again. Same for El Majacco here, as he was well off of his personal best in that time. Smith Pell. So everybody getting their final runs started here at the last moment. Dan King is 6/10 up through the first 2 sectors. See if he can keep up the pace and move up a couple positions here in these last couple minutes of qualifying. Very tight to the apex there, to the final corner. Line it's an improvement, and he breaks into the 1:30 30s, but not enough to vault him up any positions. Got a couple drivers on outlaps. Bacon, Shelly the Turtle, and I believe that's Lanzi. Slayer Eyes next up, but he is well off on his time. So let's track Shreya Coleslaw, who's nearly dead even through the first sector. He takes all of that curve on the exit of the left-right chicane. Looks like he's out of fuel though. So we'll switch back to El Majacco, who is 1/10 up on his time through the first 2 sectors. He needs to pick up a little bit more to move up into the front row of the grid. Taking the shortest line possible. And he does improve, but not quite enough to beat out Impossible Bacon. Hightower next in the Alpine. So he's going to be down on his time. He will not improve. Dusty Lusky into the final corner. 1.5 tenths up. We could see him make a lunge here for the front row. Up to the line, he does improve, but not enough. He will stay 4th. Smith fell for Red Bull. He is well off the pace. Bacon seems to have had an issue. He's going slowly. So the Turtle is a little bit up. I believe he's got Lanzi not too far. There's the wreckage of Bacon spun. So we've now entered these final laps in qualifying as the timer is completed. Charlie the Turtle into the backstretch chicane. Runs a little bit deep there. Somehow manages to keep the lap valid, but he's going to have lost quite a bit of time. Approaching the final corner. Let's see if he can make. He was 3/10 up at the sector split. Let's see if he can hang on to that. Taking all the inside road on the track, and he does improve, but just not quite by enough. Lancy's going to head to the pits. He has no need to continue pushing. I believe that's going to be it. Jacko's out of fuel. Bacon has spun the car on the lap. And that is going to be the final order for qualifying. So we do have Lanzi at the top and El Majacco in 3rd. Both championship contenders looking to capitalize, with ADUP starting all the way at the back of the grid due to that unfortunate collision at the very beginning of the session. Some very tight gaps throughout the midfield as well. should be just about set to conclude this qualifying session. And let's take one more look through the starting grid for tonight's race. Lanthy is on pole with a 128.4, followed by Impossible Bacon on the front row. And it's Elman Jacko, Dusty Lusky, Shreya Coleslaw, Smith Pell, Shelley the Turtle in 7th, Slayer Ice is 8th, Knuckles 9th, Hightower running out the top 10. Then it's Unholy Red Eye, Villeneuve, Dan King, Chevy Freak, Psycho, Fox, Cesar Robertsman, and A-Dub, who round out the rest of the grid. So we've got a couple minutes here before the race starts, and we will be right back for the formation lap. It looks like the 30-second timer has commenced, so we are about set to get underway here from the Jeddah Corniche circuit under the lights and here in Saudi Arabia. Should be an intriguing race. We've got lots of grid mix-up with A-Dub, the championship leader, starting from the back of the grid. We'll have to see how he gets on, especially at the start of the race. How is this all going to play out? We're all about to find out as the timer hits 0. And we'll get set for the formation lap tonight. Alright, let's get everything all set up for the start of the race. Looks like we have quite a selection of tires tonight as we run through the grid one last time before getting this race underway. Lanzi starting on pole has gone for the medium tires. Impossible Bacon in second, looking for the aggressive strategy on the softs. Elman Jacko in third, starting on the hard compounded tire, followed by Dusty Lusky, Sharia Coleslaw, Smith Pell, Shelly the Turtle, Slay Rise, and Knuckles all electing for the medium set. Running through the midfield, then it's Hightower, Unholy Red Eye, and Villeneuve 10th, 11th, 12th, all going for the hard compound tire, looking to take this race long. Dan King in 13th on the mediums, Chevy Freak in 14th on the mediums, then it's Psycho, Fox, and Cesar Roberto all on mediums as well. Finally, it's A-Dub at the back of the grid on the soft compounded tire, so lots of mediums and hards as we expected. We've got a couple wildcards aiming for that bold soft tire strategy. Definitely a lot of unknowns, a lot can happen with the way these barriers are around here, so definitely expecting to see at least 1 or 2 safety cars tonight, which will play a factor into the strategy. So the field is heading through the final sector now to get set for the start of tonight's race. So coming up to the grid now. We'll have to see if anybody elects for a bit of a interesting setup off the line. Trying to maximize the start. Jelly the Turtle nearly going right into the barriers there. But the back of the grid is heading up to the line now, and we will be all set for the relatively short run down into turn 1. As we have the lights coming on, 4 and 5. And it's lights out and away we go. Bacon does not get a good jump off the line. Dusky Lusky looking for some room. Going to be 3 wide heading down into turn 1. Can he make it stick? It looks like that's Jacko getting a good jump around the outside. And there's a McLaren around. I think that is Unholy Red Eye. Someone else was caught up in that mess as well. But Lanzi's come out in the lead. Elman Jacko's in second. Bacon is third. Everyone seems to have followed in line, but there was a McLaren of Unholy Red Eye who had gone sideways at the back. A-Dub all the way up to 10th place already on the softs. And a bit of chaos in the opening corners of the lap. Elman Jacko did make up a place on the hard compound tire, but he's under pressure from Impossible Bacon now. You can see just the advantage that those soft tires have had, as Lanzi has already cleared the DRS gap to the drivers behind. A-Dub making up another position up into 9th place now. Shelly nearly to the back of Sharia Coleslaw. That is the battle for 5th. So things are starting to settle down ever so slightly here, but Jacqueline and Bacon have closed in again towards Lanzi. That gap has been halved in just the last couple of corners. Bacon did not get the best start off the line, and that's what allowed Jacko to go around the outside and take that position right off the start. Now these top 4 are looking to create a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field. Sharia struggling to stay within that 1 second range. See if anyone's going to be close enough down the pit straight. Smith Pell looking interestingly close to the back of Slayer Ice, but thinks better of it. Knuckles might have a look to the inside of Villeneuve, but he's going to be a bit too far back, I think. So we'll go back up to the front of the field. This is where the soft tires are going to have the most advantage over the hard. And where Bacon's going to have to make advantage of them. see the grip advantage there, but it's not quite enough at the moment for any moves to be made. Top 9 having pulled away a little bit into their own trainers. You see Bacon right to the back of Jackal, and Holy Red Eye taking up 3 seconds. That is the first time penalty of tonight. Expecting to see quite a few more. Shreya nearing the back of Dusty Lusky as well, who has suddenly dropped quite a ways back from this group. Jackal ran a little bit deep through there, and he might have to give way. Let's see if Bacon can get this run around the outside. He's going to try to stick it through there. And they're going to be side by side at the final corner. Jackal leaves the room on the outside, and Bacon is going to have the run. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Looks like he will for the time being. All kinds of position changing at the back. Villeneuve and Dan King going at it. Same for Hightower and Psycho, who are just ahead. Psycho had cleared Hightower. Hightower's making the lunge down the inside towards turn 1. Backs out at the last second. A-Dub in 9th place now. Gained 9 positions off the line, but his march forward has stalled out a little bit on the softs. And it's only going to be a couple of laps before the medium tires start to take advantage. So the Turtle picking up 3 seconds. These soft compound tires only last about 8 or 9 laps at the maximum. So they're going to have to take advantage of them early on. Chevy Freak with another 3-second time penalty. They're adding up very quickly. Things starting to settle down. This is playing well into Elmer Jacko's strategy. If he can just maintain his position within the train, he should be able to capitalize once he gets onto the faster tire. But he's going to have to maintain within DRS range to Impossible Bacon. You can see him burning on that ERS. He can win that 1 second. Psycho's had an issue. He's lost 2 positions in just the last couple of corners. And now he's got Dan King behind him. Psycho has to have wing damage. Must have made contact with the wall at some point. And there's a yellow flag. Something's going on ahead with that Slayer Eyes making a move up the inside of Smith Pell. And that is Chevy Freak who's had an issue near the back of the grid. And Bacon has just made up a position on Lanzi for the race lead. So he knows these soft tires do not last forever, and he is pushing towards the front. Lanzi is right there, but he's not able to get close enough. It's scrapping. It's started to cause a couple of breaks in the DRS train. You see Shelley nearly a second and a half off. Chevy Freak does get going again. Red Eye into the pits. He must have had damage as well. So things starting to shake up a little bit. A-Dub still parked in 9th place on those soft tires. All the top 9 really all within touch of each other. And this is still anyone's race. Still very early on tonight. This is really the one gap in the DRS train. I don't think Shelley's going to be able to stick with the top 5. Looks like they've pulled a little bit of a gap for the time being. And may split the leading group into 2 further pairs. Smith Pell might be able to take advantage here. You can see the battery turned on through the DRS zone. Looks like Chevy Freak in turn 1, and also Cesar Roberto as Smith Pell going around the outside of Shelley into the final corner. Slayer Eyes to lunge up the inside, trying to hold the position against A-Dub, and I think he's going to be able to. See if anybody can make any moves down into turn 1. Shelley the Turtle having that straight line speed. He's going to go to the outside. Still going to be a bit too far back. And Lanzi is closed right back up to the back of Impossible Bacon. Gap now just 2/10. It looks like that is Chevy Freak out of the race, and he is in sector 1, and that has brought out a full course safety car. It's a very tricky corner that back end can just go out on you real quick through there. But this has played right into the hands of these soft runners. They'll be able to head in and should be able to take a set of hard tires to the end. I don't think we'll see any other strategies from them, but this is going to be interesting for the rest of the field. I don't think we'll be done with safety cars, but if you think you can take a set of hards to the end, it might not be a bad idea to head into the pits now. Red Eye is back into the pits. He was on a set of hards, but he's actually just gone back to the set of hards that he started the race on. So those might be a little bit more difficult to take to the end. But we're approaching the pit lane now. Let's see. I'd expect to see Impossible Bacon in for sure, because starting on the softs is essentially banking on one of these safety cars. And looks like Lanzi will follow into the pits, as well as Alvin Jacko off of the hard compound tire, so everybody into the pits. Interesting. I wonder if Jacko's going to go for the mediums here and try to take those to the end. Everybody's into the pits. Bacon has gone to the hards. Lanzi has gone to the hards as we expected. Sharia going to the hards. Looks like that's Hightower who has stayed out. Alvin Jacko's gone to the medium, so he's going for that alternate strategy, which he was kind of forced to with that safety car coming out. Looks like Villeneuve has stayed out as well. Crucially, Lanzi has gotten out ahead of Villeneuve, so he's got a bit of a gap, and he's managed to jump Bacon in the process. So a lot has happened. Dan King and Psycho have stayed out as well on their sets of mediums. So now that's created a couple of gaps with the drivers who have already pit. Fox has gone to a set of softs, so potentially looking at another two-stop strategy down there. But interesting to me is Alvin Jacko. He was starting on the hard compound tire, so he was a bit surprised by the decision, but also I think it might be a good one. If he can take these mediums all the way to the end, it would be a bit touch and go, but it is possible. Especially with these laps of safety car running. So it was quite the chaotic start we had to this race. Now we have most of the grid on old hard or new hard tires. Villeneuve, Hightower is staying out on old hards. Dan King, Psycho staying out on the old mediums. Looks like Red Eye's going back in and put on a set of mediums. I believe we'll have at least one or two more laps before the safety car comes in. See if we will have any other drivers stuck into the pits once again, maybe towards the back of the grid. Looks like we do have Dan King deciding to call the audible to the original strategy. Seeming likely for a set of hard tires here. And it's actually another set of mediums for the Mercedes. So committing to the two-stop. Going to drop him back down to 16th place. It's also going to be helpful to Dusty Lusky, Sharia, and Smith Powell, who were right behind him. Now that's one car that thus far they're going to have to overtake with those fresh tires. As this restart is going to be hectic. We've got a couple guys on old tires, so they're going to be looking to hold track position, and really 6 laps on the hards isn't really that much wear, so they should be still within a good operating window. You can see Alvin Jacko taking it very cautiously. He knows these mediums are going to have to go a long way. Unless, of course, we get another safety car in which we might be able to jump onto a set of softs. But still a lot of variables to go, and we still have 18 laps of racing to go. It looks like Red Eye has caught up to the back of the grid, so we should see the safety car back in this lap. Hightower is the race leader. We're still on the tires he started the race on. And there's the confirmation. Safety car is in this lap. All these drivers on the hard tires, it's going to take quite a bit of warming to get them up to temperature before turn 1. We'll have to keep an eye out for anybody who's struggling with temps. Approaching the final corner now. Maybe we'll see a coordinated swap at Alpine with Lanzi on the fresh tires behind. He does have Villeneuve in between him and possible Bacon. Looks like Hightower has punched the throttle to the floor, and we are back underway. Top 2 getting a good jump from the rest of the grid. Looks like there's a Red Bull Smith Pell back there getting some warmth into his tires. No position changes so far. We'll watch Elma Jacko in the mediums, and that is Hightower's gone for a spin. Oh, and he's going to have to be careful turning the thing around. He might have bumped into the wall there, which that would be very tough for his race. And he's going to want to try to scamper away here and make the most of his advantage. Villeneuve running a bit wide. Bacon's going to sneak through. All of that is very touch and go. And Red Eyes had a bit of an incident at the back of the grid. Jacko has cleared Villeneuve, and Dusty Lesson's going to be coming through next. And now Jacko and Bacon are going to have to get back within that 1 second window of Lanzi. Just picked up a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. Something might have gone on in the back there. Bacon defending to the right. Here comes Jacko to the left as they approach the heavy braking zone. Jacko thinks better of it wisely. So I'm not sure what that 5-second penalty to Shelley was for, but he may be able to get that Stewart. And here comes Jacko with another good run to the outside this time. And he's going to have that move done with those fresh medium tires. Only needs to pick up a 10th or 2 on Lanzi to get back in the DRS. There's a yellow flag. Someone's had an issue ahead. But here goes Psycho looking at the inside of Dan King. That's for 14th. The Fox has made up a couple positions, and there's the Haas of Cesar Roboto into the wall. Luckily managed to avoid taking anyone else out. And we have a virtual safety car, it looks like. Knuckles going to duck into the pits. Red Eye's going to make a very late call to go into the pits. I'm surprised we're seeing so many drivers in on what is only a virtual. Or perhaps some wing damage. You see the Red Bull team switching out that wing. That gives us a chance to catch our breath back at the front. Looks like the top 8 or 9 have cleared a bit of a gap from the rest of the field. Jacko and Bacon were able to clear Villeneuve, who had stayed on that older set of tires, but the rest of the field still behind. This VSC also giving Jacko a bit more time to save those medium tires. Have to see who gets the best jump. Knuckles has gone to the soft compound tire under that VSC, so he's going to have to make another pit stop. Psycho and Roberto going to hards, Slayer Eyes, and Unholy back to the mediums. And we're back under green flag racing. Let's see what the interval has. Looks like Jacko has closed in a little bit, got a bit better of a jump. Watching Sharia and Dusty to the back of Villeneuve now. I don't believe we have DRS enabled just yet, so we might have to wait a little bit or get creative with how they make this opportunity work. And then there's the DRS enabled. Sharia, or that's Dusty having a really good run to the outside of Villeneuve. He's going to clear him into turn 1. Let's see if Sharia can keep pace. He's going to perhaps go for the alternate line through turn 1. Charlie Turtle picked up another time penalty. Smith Pell's worked his way into this battle as well. Dusty's already cleared a second and a half. Here comes Sharia looking to the outside and towards the banked corner. Can he make it stick? Looks like he will. So a nice move around the outside from Sharia. Jacko is closed up to the back of Lanzi, taking advantage of these fresh medium tires. But of course, the hards will come back into play as we approach the end of this race. Smith Pell to the inside of Villeneuve. Down the DRS straight. We got a yellow flag, and that is Cesar Roberto having another issue. Smith Pell, and I think he's clear of Villeneuve into that braking zone. AW is going to be next up. The overspeed run to the left side, very close to the wall, but just enough room left. We have a change for the lead. Jacko around the outside of Lanzi into the final corner. Same place he made that move on Possible Bacon, who is right behind Lanzi as well. Let's see if the Alpine can strike back. So we might see a safety car out here. Going to the outside, Lanzi backed off into turn one. Jacko goes very deep. He's going to have to rejoin very interestingly to the track. Almost Verstappen and Hamilton-esque, and Lanzi's going to go through, so Jacko perhaps ceding that position after going very deep at turn one. And Lanzi has gone back out in front. And now Dusty has worked his way into the picture. Now a four-way battle in front. Can Jacko attack once again? See the extra amount of traction he has on the exit. No matter when you can time this move best. There he goes, looking to the inside down this DRS straight. Can he make it stick through the corner? Maybe a slight bit of contact. Lanzi going over the curb. Here comes Bacon. Looking to the left side of Lanzi. He's going to get through. Very nearly making contact, and now looking to the outside of Jacko. Down towards the final corner. What a battle this is. Now Lanzi's coming back through with the DRS. And Bacon has come out with the lead. Jacko trying to go up the inside, nearly making contact. And Jacko's gone from first to third in a matter of 2 corners. But he might not be done yet. Looking back up the inside into turn one. Lanzi leads him the space. But Jacko cannot capitalize. And Dusty is now right here. Incredible racing between the top 4. Sharia almost back within DRS range as well. Fox is into pits of those soft tires. Only lasting 6 laps or so. Dakota also in the newest tires in the race, so must have had a couple other issues to go along with those penalties. So Jacko is now sitting in third, and this DRS leapfrogging has not been ideal for him. And this has now brought Dusty, Sharia, and even Smith Pell into the conversation. Knuckles and Red Eye having a bit of a back and forth through the S section. Both on relatively fresh tires. Red Eye has the advantage for now. Seizing the action point down towards the final corner. Jacko's still only about 2/10 off the rear wing of Lanzi. Not quite close enough this time. Get some very good traction now with the overtake button on. See if he can make the move down into turn one. As he goes defensive, but Jacko's still looking further inside, now looking for the offset line. He might have the better advantage, but is it going to be long enough of a straight? Looks like Lanzi better in that second phase of traction and will hold on to place. Anyone's race at the moment. Top 5 under a blanket. At this stage of the race, we should see everybody but Knuckles able to go through the end. As we see Knuckles getting past Unholy Red Eye once again. So these two having a very lovely scrap. It looks like Red Eye might have had an opportunity, but he got a little bit oversteer coming out of the corner. Running a bit deep. He's going to hold on to the position for now. Jacko pressuring Lanzi once again. Look at the run through the right-hander. Very nearly into the wall. As Fox goes for a spin in the first sector. Very tight racing, but they both make it through okay. And Jacko was very close to getting through. I thought he was going to, but he might have had to left off just to avoid taking them both out of the race. And now Sharia pressuring Dusty Lusky down towards turn 1. These two got to be careful. If they scrap too much, they might fall out of DRS range. Rolling stuff we're seeing here from the top 5 drivers in this field. Jacko seems to have been able to get the better runs off the exit of these corners, just not able to be fast in the right places to make the move stick. Getting closer and closer towards the business end of this race. Dusty and Sharia have been lurking with these top 3 for the last few laps now. Can either of them get close enough? Villeneuve and Hightower still yet to pit. They've stayed out of that original safety car. And we've yet to have another one since. All the gaps just over half a second this time. Don't think we're going to see anybody quite close enough. Final corner now. Lanzy's a bit closer to Bacon than he has been the last couple of times, and of course Bacon won't have the DRS. So I think he's going to have just enough of a gap to hold on for the time being. Lanzy took a bit of a tighter line through turn 2. I think it might have compromised his exit a little bit. He's going to have to back off for now. Things are pretty stabilized throughout the rest of the midfield. For the yellow flag, I think that is the Alfa Romeo Fox getting out of the way. And here's Knuckles and Red Eye. They've been having quite a good back and forth for 12th place. Knuckles actually going to head into the pits here, so he was on those soft tires helping for that other safety car, which has not yet come. We'd like to see a set of medium tires so against. Oh, is that Jacko who's missed the apex there? It might have just been a track limits warning, which we might see start to play a factor within these top 6 at as we get towards the end of the latter stages. It is a set of mediums for Knuckles. See if he can make up any more spots on this final stint. Jacko is right there once again. Of course, Lanzy now with the DRS from Impossible Bacon. Just making things that much more difficult. You see the cars just accordioning up as they approach the apex. Lanzy is very close this time. It might be 3 wide into turn 1. Lanzy has the inside. Jacko's going to have to back off. Lanzy trying to make the move around the outside. I think he's going to have it, but Bacon is fighting back. They're going to be side by side into turn 4. Neither one's going to give an inch. And Mason battling through the S's. Lanzy's still holding around the outside. Now he's got the inside. Bacon finally clears. Jacko's trying to be a little bit opportunistic. Lanzy runs a bit deep. And Dusty is right there, but no positions changed throughout all that. Although they still just might. Jacko looking to the outside of Lanzy. Just gone a bit deep trying to hold on to that. Looks like that's, I believe, Psycho who might have had an issue. Actually, maybe. Look at the map wrong. Check that. But Bacon has now scampered away, and he's nearly cleared DRS from Lanzy. I think might have just gotten it. But these 3 scrapping out behind Bacon is exactly what he needs to see. And that was a lovely side-by-side we saw through the first sector. Jacko goes for this move. He likes that outside of the final corner. He's made a couple moves there, but he wisely backs off, tries not to cause too much of a distraction there. Lanzy's going to give him the pinch to the inside. So he's got the toe from, Jacko's got the toe from Bacon, and he's going to have the run up the inside. There goes Sharia looking to the inside of Dusty. Jacko go for the 2-for-1. A little bit of contact, and they've all been involved. Jacko goes to the lead. Bacon's gotten spun. I think Lanzi might have picked up wing damage. Bacon all the way down to 7th. His front wing looks intact, but that was a pretty heavy contact. And Lanzi must have wing damage from that as well. Surely looks like it, but Sharia and Dusty have scampered through to 2nd and 3rd, and now Jacko is out in the lead. He is on those medium tires, which is the alternate strategy. Lanzi actually making it back past Sharia Coleslaw, so maybe that wing is okay. But either way, that was an unfortunate collision, because Bacon has dropped all the way down to 7th place after leading for much of this race. And now that is Foxy, who is spun at the Sector 3 chicane. Looks like he's got it back going again. Dusty just within DRS. Sharia got a nice run on Lanzi through there. And he's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be close enough. But if they're not careful, these two are both going to miss out on DRS down the pit straight. Which might, at this stage of the race, just be enough to drop them out. And it looks like they have. So the top two now breaking away a little bit. Jacko seems to have his front wing entirely intact, and Bacon has stayed out, so perhaps all three of them managed to escape without damage. At Fox has gone into the pits and retired. He's had a bit of a difficult race. Sharia still pressuring Ramsey. Hasn't been able to find a way through. It's been a theme we've seen through the first sectors all throughout the race tonight. Third sector and pit straight where everyone seems to have made their move. Hightower still out on that set of cards. We saw Villeneuve go in 4-7 mediums a lap ago, and Hightower, the last driver, still staying out, perhaps holding out for a safety car. As we approach the final couple of laps, we have to wonder, will Jacko's tires start falling off? Obviously the hards will be the preferred tire at this stage, but will it be enough of a difference? Dusty is right there. They might have a shot down here towards turn 1. Jacko got a great run, and now here comes Lanzi, and the 3 turns off. His top 5 are now cleared, a 3-second gap. Well, here comes Bacon up the inside of A-Dub, so he's making his charge back up. And he's only 3 seconds off the top 5, which the amount of battling we've seen, he might be able to close that gap back up. Hightower finally into the pits. Oh, Lanzi a bit of a mistake, and that's going to cost Sharia, because that was right on the apex. And Bacon picks up a 3-second time penalty. So that's going to be his shot at the win, all but done and dusted for now. Hightower going through a set of softs. Let's see if he can make any progress on those. But right now, all eyes on the top 5. They've cleared a little train of their own ahead of the rest of the field. Gaps are very tight here. Someone might be able to make a move throughout the DRS zone. Especially Dusty, as Jacko's not going to have any DRS. He is right there. I think Sharia got a better run than Lanzi. But he just doesn't have the straight line speed. Dusty to the outside of Jacko using the move Jacko used so many times. And Dusty Lusky to the race lead. But Jacko's going to have to reverse DRS down the pit straight. Let's see if he can capitalize. Only 2/10 coming out of the final corner. Look at the straight line speed from Dusty. He must have gotten a heck of an exit there, and I think he's going to hold on to the position. A-Dub making it back past Bacon as well, so these two perhaps playing a bit of leapfrog, trying to get back up to the main train, and they are actually closing the gap. So you can't count them out as well. Lanzi nearly pushing Jacko through the couple of corners, and now Dusty has cleared DRS. And that is huge, as I believe Jacko, his tires might have started to hit the cliff here. And Sharia and Lindsay, they're going to want to get through as quickly as possible. You see Sharia looking to the outside. But just no room to get through. Now 8up is only 2 seconds off this group. The championship leader, of course. Villeneuve making a move around the outside of Dan King for 10th. On those fresh medium tires. Two seconds now to gap that Dusty is cleared to the race lead. So Jacko's he's surely not gonna pit at this stage. But he's got 4 or 5 drivers behind him now who are all going to be wanting to catch up to the race lead. This defense and Jacko might just be winning Dusty Lusky this race. Now here comes Lindsay looking to the outside of Jacko. And can he make it stick? He needs to make it stick now. Very close. Jacko leaves just enough room. But I think Jacko's going to get jumped by Sharia now as well. And they're going to be side by side into turn 1. Maybe a slight bit of contact. Sharia leaves the space. And Jacko's going to have to cede that position. So now this is given 3 seconds for Dusty Lusky out in front. Adam and Impossible Bacon have caught up to this train now as well. Oh, very big moment from Smith Pell, but he managed to keep it on track. I don't think they're going to have enough time to catch Dusty Lusky. This might be Dusty's race to lose at the moment. Especially Dusty's got quite the battery advantage, 2 of these guys behind. So the tactics of how they play these last few laps are going to be really interesting to watch here. Taking away. So far the gap from Dusty to Randy has been pretty much stable. Look at the run from Sharia here. He might have to make a move into turn 1 if he wants any chance of this. Elvin Jacko is still right there. So that DRS perhaps keeping him in contention. He might still be on track for a podium here depending on how things shake out. Adam and Bacon in the back of the picture as well. Here comes Jacko. Thought about looking to the outside but backed away from it. Dusty Lusky has continued to open up the gap. So this now appears to be a race for 2nd place. It's just 4 laps remaining. Smith Pell now in the top 5. He's quietly had himself a very solid race and might be on track for 3rd or even more here. Now we got closing down to 3 seconds. Dusty's lost a couple tenths over the first sector. It seems to be fluctuating a bit between that 3 and 3.5 second mark. Jack has now lost DRS to Shreya Coleslaw. And you have to wonder if those mediums are even going to make it to the end of this one. You can see the graining quite a ways through that set of mediums. Smith, if he plays this right, he might still be able to latch onto the back of Shreya and keep himself in podium contention. It looks like he's going to take the DRS around the outside and possibly use that to stick within that gap. He's got to make up a 10. I don't think he's going to be able to. Oh, Bacon almost into the back of Jack. I think they might have actually made contact there. Bacon looking to the inside. It's going to go up there trying to make the move stick, and he will. Nearly loses the car exit now. He's going to be under pressure from A-Dub and Jacko. Jacko's going to go into the pit and says, yes, we predicted those medium tires just did not make it, but that was a risk he had to take with that early safety car. Sharia and Lanzi side by side into turn 1. And this is going to continue up through turn 3. And Sharia makes the move stick. Very nicely done. But that has allowed Dusty to clear another second. And now, barring any mistake, should be on for the race win. Lanzi running a bit deep. Smith Pell not quite close enough to capitalize at the moment. But crucial for the championship. A-Dub up into 5th. Jacko's dropped down to 7th now on a set of soft tires. She's not going to be able to make up any more positions. But A-Dub will increase his championship lead, although Lindsay's in third. We'll be able to throw a wrench in that as well. But the battle for second is heating up. It might turn into who gets DRS last. You have to wonder if Lindsay and Smith-Tall are thinking about playing with their batteries here. Try to second comes up. You see Sharia nearly out with that red light flashing. Coming up to 2 laps to go this time by. Hightower's on the back of Slayer Eyes. And these two are side by side for 8th place. Still side by side through the right-left chicane. Lovely racing between these two. I think the fresh soft tires are eventually going to win out. We've got battles at the front. Lindsay going back for 2nd place. Still side by side with Sharia once again. And once again, they're going to go side by side into turn 3. And again, Sharia holds on. We've seen some lovely battling through the first couple sectors of this lap. So Lindsay and Sharia, two laps in a row actually. Side by side. Now here comes Smith-Tell looking for 3rd place. Big send to the outside. But that was always going to be tough to make it stick. Also breaking with that 3 seconds, he's pretty much locked himself into 6th place. Oh, and that's Smith-Tell completely missing the corner now, and here comes A-Dub, who's going to put the Red Bull under pressure. Smith-Tell recovers that well, but you would imagine he had to have picked up a warning through there. Jacko's closed nearly 4 seconds on this group over the last lap or two, but he's not going to have enough time. Going on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Nessie has maintained that gap just about 4 seconds for the last few laps here. If Lance can catch Sharia once again, you see the battery disadvantage that Sharia has. But Lindsay is not close enough. He's got a couple more DRS zones, so he might be able to pick 2nd place here. Jacko does get the fastest lap. Consolation prize at this point. Oh, might have been a little contact with the wall from Lindsay. And now he might get a threat from Smith-Tell, especially if he's picked up wing damage there. And looks like he has because he's dropped almost a full second. He might have just enough, especially if he's got extra battery. He might be able to just hold on to Smith-Tell for 3rd. He has closed the gap, but he's not going to have enough time. Only a few corners remaining. Top 2 pretty much set. Now it's just a battle for 3rd. And Smith-Tell get close enough to Lindsay to make a move. Smith-Tell's got a bit of a better exit there. We'll have to see if he gets close enough. He is flashing, but so is Smith-Tell. He's looking to the outside. Can he make it stick? Does not look like it. He's going to maybe go for the switchback. Dusty's going to come across the line to win the race. Sharia is going to be 2nd. The battle is for 3rd, but it looks like Lindsay's just going to hang on. Smith-Tell's going to come home 4th. A-Dub is 5th. Bacon recovers to finish 6th. Elman Jacko plays the strategy. He took a risk. It did not work out, and he will finish 7th. Hightower waves back. He went long for the safety car, did not come out for him. He's going to come out with a solid 8th place finish. Very entertaining race from the start to finish. Lots of lovely scraps at the front of the field. But it is going to be 8th place for Hightower, 9th place for Slayer Eyes. Actually, he's going to jump Hightower on penalties, as does Villeneuve. So Villeneuve's going to be up to 9th place. Hightower will be 10th. Dan King will cross the line to finish 11th. Unholy Red Iron 12th, but I think Knuckles might be able to jump him on penalties. And he has, so Knuckles will take 4th place. Red Eye will take 3rd place, or 13th place. It's going to be Psycho, who comes along, rounding out the finishers in 14th place. It was a very thrilling race we had tonight. Lots of lovely battles between the top 5 all throughout the night. Ado coming from the back of the field to recover some solid points for the championship. Congratulations to Dusty Lusky, who takes home the race win tonight. Let's take one last look through the finishing order. Of course, Dusty on top tonight, then it's Sharia, Lanzi, Smith Pell, A-Dub is 5th, Bacon 6th, Jacker 7th, Slayerized 8th, Villeneuve 9th, High Towers 10th, Dan King 11th, Knuckles 12th, Red Eye 13th, Psycho 14th, and it's Fox, Shelly, Cesar, and Chevy Freak who've yet to finish. This has been East Coast Season 7 Round 9. We'll catch you next time.